Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to show you how to add and subtract fractions. So in order to do that, we have to understand the difference between like versus unlike fractions. And this might be a review for some of you, so feel free to skip ahead if you need to. But the difference between like versus unlike is that like fractions have the same denominator. So for example, 1/3 plus 2/3 equals if there's a like fraction, then you're going to go ahead and just drag over that denominator that they have in common, which is 3. Okay, and then you're going to go ahead and do the math up top, no matter if you're adding or subtracting. So 1 plus 2 is 3. And we know 3 over 3 equals 1 from our last video, just because the numerator equals the denominator, and that means you have one whole, right? You have the same equal parts, and the total equal parts equals that as well. So that equals 1. If you had subtraction, so let's do 3/4 minus 1/4. Then you would bring over the 4 and you would do your simple math above. 3 minus 1 is 2. We can reduce that to 1/2. And we'll get into another video on how to simplify and reduce later on. But just so you know, that's just the answer there. But if you have like fractions, which we have in both of these cases, then you can do the addition and subtraction just like that. So it's really simple and easy. You don't have to change anything. Think about like fractions as like a peace treaty. The denominators are getting along, they're the same, they're equal. Then you don't have to fix anything. But where it gets a little bit murky is when you have unlike fractions. So unlike fractions have different denominators. So if we had 3/4 plus 1/2, we see that these denominators do not match. So we can't just do 4 plus 2 is 6, right? We have to fix it. We have to get these the denominators the same. So how do we do that? Well, we find the least common multiple. And if you need help with knowing what a multiple is, I can make another video on that. Just let me know in the comments below. But assuming that you know what a multiple is, let's look at our lowest number here, which is 2. And it's a 2, 4. 4 would be our least common multiple. So this is the only fraction that we have to change in order to match this one, right? So we're going to go ahead and write this down in a vertical format just because it's so much easier to change your fractions and make edits. So here we go, 1/2. So we're trying to get to 4, right? That's our least common multiple. Again, I brought this over here just so we're all lined up vertically. We're not changing the top fraction. So, okay, so 2 times what equals 4? 2, right? So we're multiplying the bottom number by 2 and the top number by 2. What you do to the bottom, you have to do to the top in order to make it equivalent. So 1 times 2 is 2. And if you look at it, you see, okay, 2/4 does equal 1/2. So we are making way. We're doing everything correctly here, okay? So now we're looking over here at this side, and we're gonna go ahead and look at our altered fractions and go ahead and just add it. So again, our least common multiple is 4, so we're gonna write that down on the bottom here, okay? Now we're gonna do our simple math. So 3 plus 2 is 5, all right? 5/4 is an improper fraction, so we can go ahead and simplify that to 5 1/4. If you need help on knowing how to do that as well, I can make another video on how to convert improper fractions into mixed numbers and vice versa. But basically, we just know that it's going to be 1 1/4. So that's for the addition. Let's go ahead and look at a subtraction example. You do the same thing. You're just adding and subtracting. Or vice versa, but you just have to change the denominators. So let's do 7/6 minus 3/12. Okay, so we see here, we're going to go ahead and write this in the vertical format. And like I said, it's so much easier if you do that. So 7/6 minus 3/12. What is our least common multiple? 12, right? So we're going to go ahead and write 12 both on the bottom here. We're going to drag that over. We're going to not change the bottom one, okay? Let's look at the top though. This one was a 6, right? How did we get from 6 to 12? We multiplied by 2, right? So what we do on the bottom, we have to do to the top in order to make it equivalent. So 6 times 2 is 12. 7 times 2 is what? 14. All right, so now look here, we have 12 on the bottom now for both of these. You can ignore the left side here. We're just looking at the right side right now since we transformed these fractions, okay? So let's go and do our math. So 14 minus 3 is what? 11, right? And then we have our common denominator, which is 12, okay? We're not going to do 12 minus 12. Remember, we're keeping the denominator the same. Because that was ultimately our goal in order to do the math, right? We had to have the common denominators. So that is your answer there, 11/12. We'll get into more complicated fractions, such as mixed numbers, in the next video. And also I want to cover division, but there's the simple rules on how to get there. If you need extra help, just let me know. But thank you so much for watching. Have a great day, guys.